Good morning. It is time to talk about Thanksgiving Day or week strategies. So we'll talk about it right after this. Give it a minute. It'd be all right. This intro's not too long. Bang your head. Get the energy up. Open your coffee. Let's go. Yes. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday. Normally, we're doing this on a Wednesday or a Friday, or not at all. But here we are on Tuesday. It's Thanksgiving this week, and I figured Tuesday would be a perfect day to go over some strategies on how to deal with load boards, what you're faced with, whether you're going to go home or not, that kind of thing. And the same strategies can be good for Christmas as well. What is Christmas this year on? Let me look here. Yeah, Christmas is on a Thursday, so it's basically going to be a carbon copy of this week. Anyways, my fly swatter fell. Anyways, so I wanted to go over a few strategies. If you're in the spot market, if you dispatch yourself or you rely on somebody like me to help you find loads at your carrier, and if you're using a dispatch service that's outside of your carrier, that's probably not a great idea. The brokers are frowning on that. So just be aware. But anyways, let's go over some strategies and something to be aware of if let's say you're a company driver or you're dispatched as a lease operator. Maybe some of these strategies will help as well. I know that over the years, I think there was only one or two Thanksgivings I actually had to work. Only one really serves in memory, and it was my first year out as a truck driver, I think. And it was just the way the load just kind of fell. And I made it to where, I had this, like, okay, I'll work Thanksgiving, but I have to be home for Christmas, but I usually ended up taking my vacation time as a company driver the week of Thanksgiving because, we've got, both my kids that live here, their birthdays are in the same week, and so it was always good to be home. And then as an owner operator, my goal was to be able to take the whole week of Thanksgiving off and work sporadically between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Although that leaves a lot of money on the table. So if you're willing to work, if you don't celebrate the holidays, you can actually make some money. So we'll go over that a little bit too. So, but anyways, it's Tuesday, November 25th. I almost said 26th. Like I said, I'm usually doing this on Wednesday and or Friday, but this time we're going to do it on Tuesday because I don't intend to go live tomorrow. And then Friday, it depends on what happens tomorrow, whether I go live on Friday or not. So, but anyways, let's go over a few things. Let's go over some comments. Let's put them on the stage, as StreamYard calls it. And let's go. So, TJ, what's up? Top of the morning. Red Lady, what's up? Good morning. OTR, what's up? Flatbed Trucker here. Yeah, I don't know how to change that. If I could change that to your guys' handles. I don't know if that's a YouTube setting or if that's a StreamYard setting or both, or if that's just what we're stuck with right now. The good thing is, these trolls that come up with fake names, that's a little bit harder to do, right? So, anyways, Scott, what's up? Scott Rollo, Gary Cook on a beautiful rainy Tuesday. Yes, it's been kind of dreary and November-ish here for the last few days. So yeah, I feel you. Cambridge City, Indiana. SST, what's up? Is it Friday yet? Nope, not yet. Albert, what's up, man? Sorry, having a tough morning, but hopefully it'll get better today. So we'll help you figure it out, right? Oh, and thank you for your membership, man. Thank you very much. Okay, my algorithms kind of suck, so I've hardly got a few people in here, so that's great. That's fine. Hopefully people will see the replay. So here's what I anticipate today. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5, technically 6 trucks I'm dispatching this week. Now, last week, I booked $30,000 in revenue. And it was a tough week. It's like, especially when drivers need something very specific, and that's kind of a limiting factor. But if you live in an abundant market, or if you're a little bit flexible about times and stuff, it's not as bad to maneuver. But the more limitations you have on yourself, well, you're limiting the amount of money that you make. Sometimes the purpose of the spot market is you have this wide open canvas that you can paint from, and you can pretty much create your own strategies if you're self-dispatch, and just, and some people go with just chasing the money. Some people want to stay in a certain lane. I was more of the stay in a certain lane kind of person for my own truck, because for me, it was about consistency. I didn't want to chase that $6,000 to Seattle and then struggle to get out for $1,000 for 1,000 miles. I didn't want to play that game. So if I'm going to do that game, I'll do it in Florida. So, but one of my highest revenues for one truck in 1 week was a truck that I utilized in Florida. So there are good ways to utilize a market, and there are bad ways to utilize a market. So it just depends on what you're willing to put up with, and what you understand, and what you're willing to learn. So TJ says below freezing here for the first time this week. Been an odd November. I ain't complaining, no. Yep. Picking up a load of produce, Oxnard, California to Olathe, Kansas. I'm curious to see what that's paying there, Scott. But anyways, so the whole thing is like, so basically what I do is I have, and I'm going to show it real quick. See the Post-it notes? See the Post-it notes? All right. So whenever I book a load, I put it in the TMS, and I put it on these little Post-it notes, right? And I put it in the category that the driver's in, right? So I have a category for each driver. And once they pick up the load, I'll write it on that piece of paper and then throw the Post-it note away. Okay. So at the beginning of the day, I have a lot of Post-it notes, and as the day finishes, hopefully they turn into written down loads. And so everybody's got a Post-it note today trying to get home. And so now what I'm anticipating are load cancellations. Albert's already experienced that this morning. I'm anticipating a lot of load cancellations. I'm anticipating a lot of brokers not knowing their customers, not knowing that they're closing early tomorrow, not knowing that they won't be open Friday, not knowing when the load, if the load gets canceled by the shipper. And let me move that there. And so that is what's going to happen today. And if I can get through this unscathed, then that'd be great. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, there is a struggle. So knowing that in my own truck, sorry, let me do this here real quick. Knowing that a lot of times on Tuesday, you want to place yourself in a position where you can deadhead home without a whole lot of damage if you absolutely need to be home, right? A lot of brokers are going to be on call on Friday. Let me take a drink here. And so the click and goes are going to be the king places and hope that they have their information correct. Let's see. Let's get this up here. So just just keep that in mind. Things will go wrong this week. Things can go wrong. And that's why for me, it was just more beneficial for me to take most of the week off. Like I would land myself at home like on Monday or Tuesday and then be done. Simply because of the complications. And I learned some lessons when I was at Landstar from other drivers and reading blogs and stuff like that was a lot of times you show up at the shipper and everybody's home. Everybody went home. They went home early on Wednesday. And then a lot of places, they will take Friday off. A lot of places utilize this week for inventory. Usually it's the retail places that will stay open. Things like water, soda beverages, beer beverages, those places tend to be open on Friday unless they're union. And then places like Walmart, Dollar General, they tend to be open on that Friday to accept shipments because they need to replenish of what Black Friday sales are going to put out there. So, and then the raw materials for that, like packaging, there's a lot of loads I'm doing this week that are from packaging. I've got a truck delivering at a Coca-Cola facility today. It's packaging. It's not cans. It's just the packaging that they put around their bottles and stuff like that. So, these are the things, and we're going to, and now, according to some sources that I have, freight rates should be good this week. And I noticed that a lot of loads were posted yesterday above the 15-day average on the DAT and the 123 load board. And I did not have to fight for. There was one load that I was trying to get a little extra, like $40, even though it was 100 over the 15-day average. But instead of losing that load, it was the perfect load to get this driver home. So I went ahead and grabbed it. So if you're patient and you're not desperate and you don't need something absolute, then you should be able to make some pretty good coin. Now, the other strategy that you might want to look at is Wednesday. Let's say you don't care about being home for Thanksgiving. Let's say you don't even celebrate the holiday, which I've talked to a couple of drivers that don't. On Wednesday, pick up something that delivers Friday. and make sure that you confirm that the place will be open Friday. If not, grab a long run that goes across the country that delivers on Sunday or Monday, preferably Sunday, so Monday you can be fresh and be good to go. A lot of you are going to get 34s. A lot of it's going to have an extra day transit. So let's say you pick up something on Wednesday, 9 a.m. and it's only 200 miles. Well, it may not deliver till Monday. So be careful with that, because that's only going to be a $600 or $800 load, and $800 for 4 days is not great. And just know that the whole, hey, I need extra because I'm holding this load an extra day, that doesn't jive. Now, if there's a delivery, like a critical delivery that happens on Thanksgiving, you have a little bit of leverage. But the leverage of the holidays is less and less nowadays of working the holidays, because of the immigrant element that's been added to the driver pool. A lot of them don't celebrate Thanksgiving. They don't celebrate our holidays. So they see it as inconvenience, and they'll grab those loads. They'll make those loads work. So that reduced a lot of leverage. I've noticed that in the last 5 years. So, but anyways, we've got some more people in here. SST says Snorelord needs a whiteboard like Jeff's. Flatbed says I'll be home tomorrow afternoon. Shannon's in the house, not in our house, but she's in the chat there. Shannon needs another appointment. She's late. She does. Please hit the like. You busy? Yeah, busy morning at dealership getting new airlines real quick. What'd you do? What did you do with the old ones? Cheap freight is at stop 3 of 9. Got a rare nursery load today. Yeah, Christmas stuff should be happening, right? Christmas stuff, Christmas flowers. So let's see. Truck stuff. Truck sucks from Yuma, Arizona. Everyone. Everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving. Be safe out there, and hopefully make it home. There you go. And then James G is in the house. Good morning. So let's go over. Let's look at some volumes, right? So let's get now. I promote 123 Low Board. I am affiliate for them, and we're going to look at their load availability map, and then we're also going to go over. We're also going to go over DAT volumes. In and out ratios is what I pay attention to for the most part. I use multiple low boards, and some that you pay for and some that you don't. So let's share the screen here. Let's take that down. There we go. It's just regular plants. We moved all the Christmas pots before Halloween. Okay. Corn and soybean seed is starting. Yep. That's good. All right. Let's go up here. Load availability. There we go. And allow. All right. There's the 123 low board. 48065. If you want to try it out for free, don't take my word for it. You get it free for 30 days. Get all the benefits, all the stuff you want to check out, all the tools, which is what I use a lot of it for. This is for van, and look at Oregon light up green. According to this, there's 152 outbound loads out of Oregon. Colorado's green, which we kind of looked at that last week of why. And my guess is that beverage sales go up during NFL football season. It's a given one, and then there's a point in time where you have the NFL and the NBA going off at the same time. And that tends to create a lot of liquor and soda sales, a lot of snack sales, that kind of thing. That is a economy in and of itself. So if you can tap into that, that's good. There's always plentiful of beer, soda, water, and snack foods sales, right? Even in hard times in the economy, that stuff actually increases because people are drowning their sorrows with addictive snack foods and beverages. So those sales tend to be up, and those tend to be higher value loads that tend to be broken into. So you got to be careful of that as well. Let's see. Let's look at let's see. Missouri's got 204 outbound. Alabama's got 132. Georgia 362. 158. So let's look at Missouri. We got 204 loads coming out of here. And let's sort this by, let's see how many of these are for today. All right. There's going to be a lot of last minute postings. And, and look, a lot of brokers are going to want to get the Friday stuff moved today and tomorrow because they don't want to have to work Friday. Or a lot of them are going to be on call with their laptops at home. So just know that if you need lumber checks or if you need assistance or if the load cancels, you're going to be dealing with the skeleton crew, which is becoming more and more frustrating because there's a particular broker that I call the main number, and it's AI that goes to email that the rep that you can't get a hold of in the first place. And so it's this endless circle that, this perpetual, like, it sucks. I'll just say that. It's frustrating. And the AI can't do anything for you. That's it. All it can do is send an email to someone important, right? Or you can tell it, hey, give me a real person. And if you're working on skeleton crews, which a lot of these brokerages are because they've been cutting down. That's why their profit margins are so good right now, because they've been cutting their workforce by replacing it with AI. It's a lot more frustrating whenever there is a situation or a problem arises. So, like here, Sherway's got Bloomfield, Missouri to Ottawa, Illinois, picks up today. They're above the average. Sherway's also got Bridgeton to Wisconsin. They're below the average, but you might be able to get a little bit more out of that. They got several of these. So they're spamming the board a little bit. Here's Columbia, Missouri to Albany, New York. 2850, almost $3,000. And they're above the average. Now that load is going to hopefully deliver, let's see, how many miles is that? 1140. So you pick it up today, probably won't deliver till Friday, or it needs to deliver tomorrow. So they need a team on it, but they're not going to tell you that. Let's click on this one. Baled plastic. So that's going to trash your trailer a little bit. But yeah, they're already above the average. Why? Probably because it may not deliver till Friday. It may not deliver till Monday. So you pick it up on a Tuesday and deliver Monday. That's almost a week for 2850. So you got to be careful of that. Like, oh man, that's $250 a mile. That's great, But let's reopen that load up here. Are there any tolls on this? Where's my tolls at? I don't think it has tolls. Yeah, it would be right here if it did. So there you go. Here's another one, 2 hours old, posting $700. They're not above the average. Independence, Missouri to Russellville, Arkansas. Imagine that's coming out of the caves. In Russellville, you want to look at the market coming out because that will deliver tomorrow. Now, if you live in Little Rock or you live in Arkansas, this is your load home, if this load is still there. Then here's another one, Jefferson City, Olathe. So a lot of short haul. Here's some longer ones. Joplin to Saratoga Springs, New York. Joplin to Memphis. Now, the other thing I'm going to mention is you need to start, if you're a van, you need to start worrying about freeze protect. Okay. I mentioned that last week as well. You have to start worrying about that. Don't let your truck sit for too long. And then also consider if your truck breaks down, what are you going to do? So if you sit there like, okay, if I deliver first thing in the morning, I'm good to go. But then your truck breaks down, the trailer sits for 3 days because International lost your, they don't know how to get parts in, or Peterbilt or whatever. Then guess what? Your stuff's frozen solid, nothing you can do about it. Or you're breaking the seal to put a heater in there and hope for the best. So, I mean, but how are you going to get a heater in there if you don't have power? So, these are the things that you have to consider when doing beverage loads that are freeze protect, or paint. Paint's another freeze protect. So now if we post this by highest rate, let's do that. This will give us the long haul stuff or the good paying short stuff. See, they're paying a little bit higher to go into Oregon than they normally are, which means that it's probably more of a bear to get out. Here we go. 259, 3241 to go to very South Florida. This is PLS. This is going to be shopping carts out of St. Charles. Now, here's Springfield to Bronx. Let's take a look at this. I know this has tolls. Why is it not showing the tolls? That's crazy. There we go. This should have tolls going into the Bronx. Might have to talk to Lauren about that. Let's see. Let's do this. So Springfield to Bronx. So let's go to market rates. Springfield, Missouri to Bronx. Yeah, there's the tolls. $349. So maybe something reset I've got to mess with, but yeah, $49 in tolls. So I would probably want a little bit more to go into the Bronx from this load to help pay for the tolls. So, but I don't do that sort of thing. So let's see. Go back to load availability. Chief Freight says he was in Oregon last week, learned 3 things. One, exempt commodity doesn't mean HOD exempt. It costs $440 if you enter Oregon without a permit. It costs $880 if you've caught in a chain zone without chains. Oh my gosh. Sounds like an expensive trip. You would think the roads were paved in gold here in Oregon with all the money they make in trucking and the public taxes that come out of workers' payroll, transit tax, right? Well, we all know tax is theft, right? Taxation is theft. So anyways, back to the task at hand here. Let's put this back on van. Let's see what Illinois is doing, right? Here's my load home, Champaign, Illinois to Springfield, Missouri. $1,000. They're already they're at the average pretty much. $276 a mile to go to Georgia. Oh wow, $2,000 to go from Joliet to White, Georgia. 638 miles, 35,000 pounds. That's an easy load, and they're above the average. They want to get rid of this load. They need it gone now. Again, that's another one that might deliver Friday, might deliver Monday. Let's see. Quincy, Illinois to Watertown, Wisconsin. No rate posted. A lot of them are going to want you to set the anchor because they want to see what you're going to say. So know your pricing. If you don't know your pricing, you could be leaving money on the table. For example, is Sterling, Illinois to South Boston, Virginia. Now, South Boston, I want to say that might be Target, but I could be wrong. Okay. Cargo Chiefs got this at 21. Raycheck's got it at 24. So if you don't know your numbers, let's say, oh man, I only need 1,500 for this. I'm going to grab it for 15. That broker is going to be your best friend. 10,000 pounds. And you got to look the outbound. What's the outbound look like in South Boston? Oh, there's the tolls. Okay, they've rearranged things here. Here's your back hauls. 63 loads from Virginia going anywhere. So could be decent. 6 going back to Illinois, 43 going anywhere. So like I said, I love these tools. You know, it's got my fuel mileage up here, estimated fuel costs, additional cost 95.50. That's going to be tolls right there. Then if I have, let's say, you know, like trucking, you get 80% of the line haul revenue, so you'd put 20% here. So let's put 20%. They call it a dispatch fee, but you can call it whatever you want. My total profit is $1.60 a mile, or $14.09.39 out of the $24.95 if I get it for that, right? So if you're new to the spot market or you don't know how to track your numbers, this is a great tool to kind of help you do that. Well, look at Shannon gifting some memberships. Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. I love it when the haters get memberships by accident. It's awesome. But thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that. So we'll highlight her comment there for a minute. 2,000 to go from Morton, Illinois to Lexington, North Carolina. Also picks up today. A lot of stuff for today. Let me see this text here. All right. Oh, that load's gone. This updates by the second, right? It's in real time, which is awesome. Whereas DAT, I gotta hit refresh because I don't have the subscription that automatically refreshes. So let's look at the in and out ratio. So let's refresh this. States that stand out on the outbound. Arkansas looks good. Let's see. California's got a little bit more coming out than in. Colorado's outbound is higher than it normally is, which, you know, the 123 low board showed that. Let's see. Georgia's more out than in, so that's good news. Florida's actually got 1,000 coming out. Normally, this is 1,400 going in and like 400 or 500 coming out. So a lot of outbound. So I'm wondering what that product is. Wondering what a lot of that is. Illinois 1873 in, 2841 out. Indiana looks good. Kansas not so good. Kentucky looks good coming out. 1,300 coming out. Louisiana not great. It's about even in and out ratios. Massachusetts sucks. Maryland sucks. Michigan's got more out than in, so that's good news. Same thing with Minnesota, Missouri, Mississippi, Montana. Montana's got more out than in. I mean, there's only 90 loads in that entire state, but there's more out than in. North Carolina, not so much. North Dakota's got more out than in. Not much up there, though. Let's see. Jersey, nope. Jersey's usually got more out than in, but not here. Not today. But the outbound volumes are still pretty high. Like New York's got 900, almost 1,000 coming out. Ohio's got way more out than in. Oklahoma is not great. Oregon's got 841 loads coming out. That's interesting. Which they were green on 123 as well, if you remember that. So that reflects that, right? Let's see what DAT says about Washington when we get down there. PA's got more in than out. That's usually the other way around. So if you go to the Northeast, you're gonna struggle a little bit more than you normally do to get a good rate, even with a holiday. The computers will tell these brokers that they have leverage there, right? South Carolina's got more out than in. So Georgia, South Carolina look good. North Carolina, not so much. So you'll probably make more going into North Carolina, but that's why. So if you grab North Carolina to Georgia and then Georgia coming out, you'll probably do okay. Tennessee's got 1,300 coming out, more in than out, but still seeing 1,300 loads out of Tennessee is a good number. Texas isn't great, so Virginia, nope. Washington is showing 620 out, 290 going in. Wisconsin looks good coming out. So yeah, there's a freight volumes look pretty good, pretty healthy, and that'll be good. So Shannon says, please everyone hit the like. We got to get Snorelord back in the algorithm. Yep, that's Snorelord's fault. TQL has 17 different loads, and Florida posted 389 times. That's why Florida numbers are up. Yes, and we went over that the last live feed. So let's take a look at that. So we'll go to DAT here. Let's go make fun of DAT for a minute. All right. All we got to do is click on this number here, and this will give us, let's get rid of one of these. This will give us Florida to anywhere, right? And look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 loads posted by TQL there. Let's see if we can find somebody else doing that. That's even worse. Magellan's got a bunch. Those are all different destinations, so those are different loads. Let's see. Now let's sort this by highest rate. Let's see what happens here. Here's a van with team going from Pensacola to Tacoma, Washington. TQL's got a bunch going to Oregon. It's probably the same load. And see, and you got to filter this stuff, right? Mentally, right? Palm Coast, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Gainesville, Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, St. Augustine, Florida, and Lake City, Florida, all going to Portland. This is the same load, right? Now, Gainesville is going to be further, and Orlando is going to be further than Jacksonville, right? So there's going to be a discrepancy there. And if you look, one load's at 3,039, and the lowest one is 2980 or 2886. That's a huge spread of mileage difference. So you have to be aware of that, especially when you're dealing with your hours, right? You have to be aware of that. But yes, CFH is right there. So, just be aware of that. And look, it does happen on 123 as well. I mean, all low boards tend to do it, except for the broker only low boards. Now, if you see like C.H. Robinson low board and they got 3 loads, it's the same thing. They're 3 different loads. They don't spam their own board, right? A lot of onions coming out of Oregon, but you can't really put them on a van. It's either flatbed or reefer, right? or a vented van maybe. So, but anyways, so anticipate low cancellations, anticipate you showing up. You want to confirm with the receiver that they're going to be there when you get there. If you're delivering Thursday. Now, the other thing is be careful of anything that will deliver on Thursday. Very few receivers are going to be open on Thanksgiving. I'm not sure about the Walmarts and the Dollar Generals, but and if they are, it's going to be a skeleton crew. So, it might take long to get unloaded. And if you have any kind of issue, like you need a lumper check, or if there's damaged product, or let's say they leave 2 full pallets on your trailer, you're stuck until someone comes in the office the next day that can help you. So just be aware of those things, So but you should be able to get some good rates today unless you're in the Northeast. That's my prediction. And you should be able to, if a load cancels, if you're in the right area like Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, you're going to be able to recover pretty quickly. So in Atlanta market's going to be good. So just be aware of that. Just be aware. I think I will save the market report that CDN sends me, I think, till my next live feed, but I got to get off here, make sure everything's good to go for everybody. So 48065, if you want to try it out for free. Oh, while we're doing that, while that banner goes and you can read that lovely typing, let's look at flatbed. Now here's flatbed. Look at the volumes down here. Volumes in the south have decreased a little bit, but this is your jam if you're a flatbed right here, this whole area. And then if you like running long miles, you should be able to get consistent money from the northwest to the southeast, back and forth. But better have your chains, better have your weather skills, because there's a lot of mountains to get over there. Let's see. Let's look at reefer here. A lot of western states that are normally red are now yellow, so that's good. Still not great volumes though. And look at this part of this whole stretch is not looking great. Let's look at Georgia. Let's see what kind of reefer freight's coming out of Georgia. McDonough to Gainesville for $4.61, almost $5 a mile. Let's see, 1,500, 342 to go to Lakeland. Your highest paying lane is going there. $1.32 to go to Las Vegas. I don't think so. Let's see. Let's sort this by highest rate. No, let's sort by highest rate per mile. Let's do that. $1,200 for 176 miles. Your highest rate per mile is going to Alabama, Kentucky. Of course, it's going to pay going into these states where it's showing yellow and red. Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama. So you better be getting your money in going in there. $4 a mile to go to Kentucky. Let's see, $3.62 to go to PA. Let's click on this one. Now, this picks up on the 29th, which is Saturday, which is probably why they're above the average. Let's go down here, see what the backhaul looks like. Greencastle to 70 loads coming out, so you've got some choices there. So, but that's your reefer market. Freight Swami, seeing solid rates. Yep, I'm seeing them too. So good morning. All right, so thanks for tuning in. I got to end this live feed. I got to get to work. So, with that being said, be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for the good stuff, and be thankful for the bad stuff. For it should be teaching you a lesson. I appreciate every single one of the people that are members, and for the people that subscribe, and for the people that watch, whether you hate watch or love watch. I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful that I have this platform to talk to you about. So, anyways, I may not be in the truck seat anymore, but I'm in there with you guys, feeling every bump in the road with you. So, with that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Aggression turns to screws. Be safe. Be good. Now, the other thing I'm gonna tell you here is a lot of people are gonna be on the interstate that normally don't ride the interstate too much. So there's gonna be a lot of shenanigans driving. So just be aware. Be safe. So with that being said, peace as I give you the soothing sounds of heavy metal. Peace.